Well, most researchers say a general number, it's around 70,000 thoughts every single day in your awakened time. The interesting fact is from these 70,000 thoughts, 90% of that is of the past. 90% of your thoughts on a daily basis are of things that you have no influence of, things you cannot change, things of the past. Now, just to give you a vast concept of the power of thought, this building was once an idea one person had in his mind. Now it is in the physical realm. Yes, what every speaker wants to make to the audience is that they want to replicate a similar neural network of the speaker to the audience, just like what I'm trying to do right now. Now, in the pursuit of success in life, there are many barriers. There are many barriers that prevent you from succeeding, prevent you from reaching the wealth of emotion and success in health. Well, I believe that the main barrier is yourself. The barrier is your own carnal emotions. All these carnal emotions include stress, anger, depression, aggression, all those carnal emotions that you are not aware of. I believe that this is the greatest barrier to success in life. Yes. Now, I want to talk about the body. There are many ways we can describe our body. The human body is described as the world's greatest chemical factory. Now, our body carries out a multitude of biological processes. Now, these biological processes affect our emotional, physical, and psychological reactions of the body. Now, what I want to give you today is how our thoughts and emotions can influence our biological reactions. Thus, an electrical impulse in our brain leading to chemical, physical, and biological changes in our physical body. Now, I want to talk about how we perceive reality. Now, what you think, what you feel is actually a reflection of your environment. Most of your homeostasis is actually a reaction of what happens in the environment. Now, due to this, our carnal emotions actually conquer our thoughts. We become an prisoner of our unintentional emotions, thoughts that actually lead us to things like stress, anxiety. Well, many researchers have linked the gap between how our stress or carnal emotions lead to disease. For example, stress causes inflammation. Inflammation is linked to many diseases, including heart attacks and diabetes. Yes. Now, since I've talked about how our thoughts and emotions can impact us negatively, now what if we think about the positive impacts of our thoughts and emotions? Well, it's only negative if you don't have control of your thoughts and emotions, right? Now, what if you harness the immense power of your thoughts and emotions? Yeah, I might just be able to give you a solution, a method where you can use the power of thoughts and emotions for success in life. Yes. But first, we'll talk about the evolutionary curse of emotion. Now, imagine you as a hunter-gatherer. Now, you spot a wild animal, okay, and you are being chased by it. Our humans, our ancestors actually relied on our stress reaction in order to survive. Without stress, we wouldn't exist. Now, I've come to think, due to the evolutionary process of natural selection, the adaptations of animals, of organisms that don't support them to survive must drop out, right? Then stress should also drop out. Well, then how would our ancestors survive? Well, when you are being chased by a predator, you would essentially require the stress reaction. Now, your adrenal glands start to produce adrenaline and cortisol, stress hormones. Now, this gears your body ready to either face the problem ahead or run away for your life. Your muscles stiffen, your heart rate increases, and probably your mind gets ready to run away. Yes, our ancestors wouldn't have survived if not for this stress reaction. But, however, what happens in modern-day society is that our stress reaction actually causes us to be deprived of things like depression. How do we break this cyclic process? How do we prevent us being a victim of our own thoughts and emotions? Well, one solution I can provide for you today is meditation. A dictionary definition of meditation can take you a long way. Well, meditation is the attention and awareness you give to dispatch from reflexive thought. What I mean here, in simple terms, is that meditation allows you to control, be aware, be conscious of your thoughts and emotions. Yes. Now imagine the possibilities of thought. Just to give you an example, I want to talk about the sciences of epigenetics. Epigenetics, scientifically, is how environmental and behavioral factors can affect gene expression. Okay? Now, for example, let's talk about anger. Okay? Our environment causes such a thought of anger. That is an electrical impulse. This electrical impulse causes a chemical, biological change inside of you, which causes you to be angry. Just like that, the science of epigenetics talks about how our thought and emotion can affect how our genes are expressed. Okay. For example, a study by the Chopra Foundation and Deepak Chopra and many of his colleagues, many of whom are PhDs, have concluded with a correlation how meditation and epigenetics can link together in order to prevent disease and increase immune response. They concluded that many meditators actually have used an epigenetic reaction intentionally in order to reduce disease. For example, imagine your gene code says you have a cancer. Practically, it's an heretic disease, right? But the science of epigenetics can aid the way we look at heretic disease, making it curable. Now, imagine if you could read your gene code in a different way. Now, we know that we cannot change the gene code of every one of your cells, right? But what if we could change the way you read it? Yes, that means that the way we perceive our gene code can actually change the outcome, change the biological outcome. This correlates between the power of thought and the genetic outcome. Now, I want to talk about something more common. You people might have heard about the placebo effect, right? Yeah, so the placebo effect was shown in many studies. For example, 2 groups of patients were given tablets, sugar tablets, okay? And one was given the tablet that actually gained the chemical reaction of reducing blood sugar levels, right? But the other group was actually given a derivative which contained no chemicals, okay? It was a placebo. But they concluded in the end of the study that both groups had similar reactions by the body. That's impossible, right? One group was not given the actual tablet. They were given a placebo. The thing is that they believed it was a sugar tablet. They believed it. Every cell of them actually reacted to this. Now, this just gives us a glimpse of the power of belief. Now, belief actually resulted in our body reacting to that as a sugar tablet, resulting in an actual biological chemical change within you. Yes. Going on into a more vast concept, I want to talk about hemispherectomy. Now, this is actually an intense surgery where you remove a major lobe of the brain. Now, this was actually done in children because of mental disabilities, okay? Now, what the research ended up was that on the long term, the part of the brain that actually existed, which remained, adapted, thrived, in order to carry out the functions of the brain that was non-existent. This shows us the capabilities of our thoughts and emotions and how we can change our genetic expression and how we can adapt to critical situations in life. Now, this is just a concept that I've provided to you in a scientifically psychological manner. Yeah, through the power of meditation, placebo, and the principles of epigenetics, I believe that you people can use this, okay? Use this to solve problems in life, to succeed in life. Yes. If a single message that I want you people to take today is enthusiasm. In Greek, enthusiasm means, enthu means into, siasm means God. Enthusiasm for work, enthusiasm for compassion. Now, if I talk about compassion, what do you think is the world's first sign of human civilization? Wait, you might think it's Göbekli Tepe or the Egyptian pyramids. Well, the first sign was a healed femur of a Neanderthal. What this showed is that humans actually showed compassion to each other. This was the first sign of civilization. This gives us a glimpse on how positive emotion can actually be a critical part of human civilization. Yes, now I walked you through vast scientific concepts that affect our lives in multitudes of ways. Yes, new thoughts, new ideas aren't for people who hope. They aren't for people who wish. They are for people who think. They are for people who search. I want to congratulate every single one of you who have dedicated your time in order to search the reality, in order to search within yourselves. Together, we can weave a thread of connection that weaves all of us and use the power and enhance the quality of life through meditation and the principles of epigenetics.